Okay. I'm going to count down from 3, and then be ready to hit Philip Glass-operatic. Ready?
Are you going to do 3, 2, 1, go?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. There's another menu. Okay.
Yes, there is another menu.
Okay. If you hit the down button...
Yeah, I'm on movie now.
I can't select movie. Weird. Wait 1 second. Oh, I think I got it. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see if that hits the... So, we should probably do this like a real commentary. Introduce ourselves, and then take it from there. So, my name is Bert+Cheryl, and I'm a life critic.
And I'm Cheryl Singleton. I'm an actress and a movie lover.
Ooh, an actress. Wow. I actually know somebody famous. Pretty cool. I actually, you know, I digress, but I actually went and tried to find you on imdb.com, you know, the International Movie Database, which is my Bible for anything movie related. Oh, listen to that. Listen to that Philip Glass. Can you hear it?
Do I need to turn mine up?
Those two notes.
Yeah, I'm on there.
You're not. You're on IMDb?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. I couldn't find you. I don't know why. I was going to suggest that I write a nice little biography for you.
Oh, yeah, I'm on there.
Oh,
actually,
cool.
I need to upload a photo.
You know, I realized that there's something I forgot to do organizationally, which is I was going to print out all of the names of all the actors who play the different parts. Josette Day, I mean, she's obviously Beauty, and gosh, I can't even remember the name of the guy that plays the Beast, but there's some there's some backstory behind him, and we'll talk more about that. So anyway, it's Saturday, June 6th. That we're recording this, and
July.
It's what?
July, not June.
Oh, it is? Well, see, we were originally going to do this on June 6th, and I thought that historically speaking, that was actually really cool, being that it was D-Day, you know, and actually there's a lot of this movie that has to do with the end of the Second World War in France. So I thought, wow, what a cool, ironic day to be doing this on. So let's pretend that it's Saturday, June 6th.
As opposed to July.
Sunday, July 5th, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's because somebody I know was kind of slacking off on, first of all, getting sick, and then just not being available for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I didn't slack off on getting sick. I got sick, so
that's true. That's true.
I wasn't slacking.
No, you went full on and got sick. Yeah.
I went full on, yeah.
Okay, check this out.
It's been so long since I've seen this movie, and I love this movie.
The
first time I saw it was when we were in high school.
Oh, really? That long ago?
Yeah.
I think I saw this first when I was in my 20s. And I must say, it took me a while to get into it because there's all this introductory stuff in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Like where they're introducing all the characters and there's all this French dialogue and you're reading the subtitles, and I just couldn't fully get into it. But I must say that with the Philip Glass score and with a little bit more concerted effort, that first part is just as brilliant as the rest of the movie.
And I just realized the subtitles are not up on mine.
They're not? Oh, that's going to be really important. We should start over.
Well, no, I can just go to the menu.
Oh, you can go and turn them on?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Well, if I go to the menu, is it going to...
Well, I'll read you the subtitles. That girl, you know how she is. She can't do a thing. That's one of the sisters. No good. He's talking about the shot, not his sister.
Yes.
Oh, the arrow. That's really significant. We'll get back to the arrow. So there's the two crappy sisters and the mother. Oh, no, the two crappy sisters. The mother and the one crappy sister. And, of course, Beauty. Yep, crappy sister. And then that's the brother on the, I forget which is which. Cabriole is the name of one of the sisters. Okay, that's the brother. And that behind him is, I can't remember his character's name. He's the, he's the idiot. The idiot. Yeah. I should just pull up the IMDb page on this and have it running on the side. Belle scrubbed the floor. So this is the whole kind of Cinderella story where you have the two wicked sisters and the wicked mother, and the avarice,
And the father who's caught in the middle.
and the avarice dummy, right? Right. The whole stepmother stepsister jealousy kind of thing. The brother is cool. The brother's. Say that again.
When did Philip Glass do the operatic score?
I believe it was probably 1991 or 92 or something like that. I think it's really by the movie that he just decided to write this thing, and then the amount of engineering. This is total dialogue replacement. So every time you hear them singing, the opera singers are syncing somehow. And I still don't know how they did this to the live action. So they're totally replacing all of the audio. It's pretty cool.
I can't remember what Philip Glass I saw, and I wasn't a big fan. Like everyone was,
Are you probably?
And
Well, his most famous.
saying how wonderful Philip Glass is, and I can't remember what I saw, and I was like, nah. But this is interesting.
He's done a number of things with film. Probably the best known is Koyaanisqatsi, Powakatsi, Nakwakatsi, that trilogy. But he also did the theme for The Thin Blue Line. He's done the... just recently I saw a film with him. I can't remember what the name of it was, but he did the score for that, and it was amazing. He's done a lot of film scores.
Yeah.
So Jean Marais plays the Beast, the Prince, and Avenant. So he has kind of a dual role. Avenant is the idiot lover, or wannabe lover.
Look at that chin, look at that jawline.
And actually, this guy right here, that's Ludovic, the brother, Michel Auclair. It's funny to have a last name, named after a pastry, but what can you do? Yeah. So this whole bit here with just the introduction of the characters, this is the part that when I first watched the movie just kind of, with the original audio, oh, this is a great look. May the devil himself splatter you with dung. I love that. Now see here, this is total Jean Cocteau. The composition of the frames, it's really beautiful. And I'll tell you something about this. This was made at the very end of the Vichy France occupation period, and there's been a lot of criticism of Jean Cocteau for making films that are kind of Vichy slanted, if you will. But what can you do? If you're living in France at this time, what are you going to do? You can't come out and, just... But what's really ironic about this film is that it totally is an anti-fascist film. And, I mean, the whole, there's this, there's this thing about conformity, the family and conformity and so on, and how Belle is anti-conformist and the Beast is anti-conformist. And there's a lot of jabs directly against the Nazis and the Vichy government in this film. They're not subtle. And I think the French people of the period really kind of understood that.
Yeah.
Now, the other cool thing is the Nazis were really into this film because they like two aspects. One is it's a fairy tale. What's wrong with a fairy tale? Number two, they really liked the kind of Aryan features of Josette Day and Jean Marais.
Of course.
Yeah, so they were very much cast in this role because of the Nazis. But I think it's really cool because they're striking features.
You would think the Nazis would pick up on the fact that it's so anti-Nazi.
No, they weren't that. They weren't operating on that level.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh, she's got glorious breasts. We'll comment on those breasts. Oh, there they are again. Sorry. I forget what these guys are all about.
Wait, where are you? Because
Where?
I'm looking at the sisters now.
Really?
Yes.
We're out of sync. Yeah, something weird happened. The father is now sitting down with these three gentlemen who are joining him. Somehow we got out of sync.
Yeah, I didn't stop it at any point.
Do you have the ability to bring a clock up showing you where you are in the film? How many minutes in you are?
He's talking about his daughters being married right now.
To who? To these three guys, right? Oh, no, I see the sisters there.
Now they're outside. The sisters are... One sister's outside.
We got Wicked out of sync. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should start over before we...
Okay. I'm going to stop it now.
Boy, that's where... Or just hit... Yeah, go back to the menu. Weird. Oh, you know what? Here's how we could do it. Are you now looking at something that says Beauty and the Beast Glass Index?
No, I'm back to the main menu.
Oh, okay. Here, all right. From the main menu. Let me take you to what might help us keep in sync. That's weird. I don't know why that would have happened. Oh, our first technology glitch.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go back into the Philip Glass opera, instead of hitting movie, do you see that there's an index button underneath Introduction by Philip Glass?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and click on that, and then you have Beauty and the Beast Glass Index.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overture of the sisters.
Yep. So what we're going to do is getting ready to press on Overture. I'll count it down again, and we'll just start over. Ready?
Uh-huh.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, the Criterion Collection.
Yep.
So, just like in a real movie, introducing ourselves, I'm Bert+Cheryl, life critic.
I'm Cheryl Singleton, actress and movie lover.
And this is take 2 since we screwed up the first time. But I still think it's pretty cool. I actually know somebody famous. We talked about this, but I looked you up on IMDb. Apparently you do have an IMDb page. I'm just not technologically literate enough to find it. But I do want to...
I'm not sure if it's under Cheryl B or Cheryl Singleton.
Ah. You know what I should do? I should just look up the movie that I know you were in. She's Gotta Have It.
Mm-hmm.
And then see if you're listed there. I mean, what good is it to have an IMDb page if you're not linked into the movies that you're in?
There you go.
Alright, looking at it. Boy, there's a lot of people I don't know. Oh, there you are.
There I am.
Your character's name was Toby? Toby?
Now that I have a new photo, I will upload it.
Oh, you're down 8% in popularity this week on IMDb. I don't know what you did, but you pissed somebody off.
What did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was up in popularity, so there you go.
So you've got a filmography, but maybe I did hit this. I think what you're missing is you're missing a bio, and I was thinking of writing one.
But don't you have to pay to have a bio on IMDb?
No. Somebody's just got to submit one. I mean, because IMDb is essentially put together by people building up a, knowledge base. I think you just have to have a free account. You have to have an account that says this is really you.
An IMDb Pro.
I don't think you need IMDb Pro. I really don't. No.
No, I'll look into it.
Anyway, what I was going to say is, this is Philip Glass's score that we're watching. Are you now seeing Une Production André Paulabé?
Yeah.
All that? Okay, so we're in sync.
And the Cinematography.
Yep.
And the clapboard is the other way around.
Yeah, it's kind of up. He's got it turned upside down. I think it was yet another anti-Nazi statement. Because, of course, the Nazis would have had it turned right side up. We'll talk about the Nazis in a minute, but this is...
I'm pretty sure that the first time I saw this was on an outing at St. Anne's.
Really?
We would go to...
At St. Anne's?
We would go to this French Institute in New York and see movies.
Cool.
So that's the first time that I saw this. That's the first time I saw all the perform movies.
That's very cool, and that also explains why it took me until my 20s to be exposed to Cocteau, François Truffaut, and all the... Because I was in the Spanish class, and so we were basically baking cookies and trying to figure out how to go to some low-cost South American country. And our funds kept getting usurped by those damn French people. Like, we froze our butts off one year. We raised like a $1,000 selling Christmas trees. And I remember just freezing my butt off for a week delivering Christmas trees. And because we couldn't get up enough... Oh no, the country we wanted to go to, the Dominican Republic, it had like a revolution right when we wanted to go there. So then the darn French people came in and took all our money. Oh, I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I kid you not. I was like...
So I got to go to Montreal on the back.
No, there was a... It was actually a Paris trip. They got to go to Paris, and what we got...
After me.
What I got was ruined boots from all the water and ice damage from delivering Christmas trees.
Oh man.
Yeah, that sucked. Anyway, let's get back into the film. So... This is the part of the film that always used to throw me, where they're introducing all the characters. That is Ludovic, the brother, and also played by Michel Auclair, named after the French pastry, and Jean Marais, who plays the Beast, and Avenant. And this is the mother coming down the stairs, followed by one of the two sisters. And what I love is just how atrocious these women are during the whole film.
I know their outfits are absolutely outlandish and so over the top.
Right.
And especially given where they live. It's just...
But that's what's brilliant, because it's so clear what these characters are right off the bat, you know.
Yeah, what they think of themselves.
And then the brother is kind of like the logical one. He's the one that stands up. He's the one almost protagonist besides Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally spoiled.
It's amazing that she can fit in that with that dress on.
Well, you saw it took her a couple of tries.
Yeah.
That was probably like take 7. Lackeys. Hurry up, get going.
I never noticed the duck walking out from under the skirt.
Oh, yeah, he's walking out from under the ladder. He's kind of like drunk or sleepy, or who knows.
Oh.
So this is like amazingly comical, and what I love about Philip Glass is he cues into the mood of every... This is all like bright, early morning, and just kind of everything's kind of happy, and wait till you hear the themes that he introduces.
Chimes coming in, little bells coming in.
Yeah. The themes that he introduces later get very... I mean, I guess you've seen the film, but you haven't heard the Philip Glass thing, which was done... You'd asked earlier when it was done, and it was probably the early 90s. I'm not sure the exact year. They'll give a credit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer watching it this way.
It's just going to get darker and darker as we go along.
Yeah, I honestly prefer watching the opera track or listening to the opera track than the original score. It's not just the recording quality. Oh, here's this great look I love. And great phrase. May the devil splatter you and cover you with dung. Okay, we were talking about Cocteau and his composition. Look at that. Oh yeah, we forgot to point out the arrow. The arrow is pretty significant. Comes into play later on. So here are the two main characters. Here's where he's acting so chivalrous, you'd think. Even the floor longs to reflect your beauty. But he goes a little too far, and you can see she doesn't want his advances.
Mm-hmm.
And he's totally into himself playing the role of lover rather than being a lover. So it's really great.
Yeah.
Oh, we also talked about how it's really kind of cool that we're doing this on Saturday, June 6th, because of the historical significance of that date, with the invasion of Normandy and so on. I think this was filmed pre-Normandy, but released after the Normandy invasion, but before the Allies had taken over Europe. So it was actually released, I think, originally. I'm not sure. Well, it was definitely filmed under the Vichy regime, and they had to get away with a lot of stuff to make such a really cool kind of anti-fascist movie right under the noses of the Vichy government and the Nazis.
Right.
The Nazis were into the two lead characters because they had kind of Aryan features. And also they were totally into the story. They thought there was nothing wrong with the story. Meanwhile, Cocteau snuck this bomb by where it's really going after, fascism and level-headed thinking, conformity. It's very against all of those things. Okay, now are you seeing the three?
Yes, I'm seeing the gentlemen coming in.
The three gentlemen coming in. So I don't know how we ended up so terribly out of sync the first time, but we're in sync now. And I've totally forgotten about this scene. So he has some of his business compatriots coming over. So actually, since he's referring to daughters, they're not stepdaughters. They are actually his daughters. And so they're half sisters of Belle. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's not the Cinderella story.
I was thinking Cinderella. Yeah.
Not in that sense, anyway.
So he has these plans for bettering the family. Oh, so apparently there's a whole intrigue because Avenant is trying to buy into this family because he knows they're going to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
Aha! More intrigue. I guess there's just the one sister that's spoiled, not two.
Well, he doesn't have a wife.
Oh, it's two sisters?
Yeah, he's got the three sisters.
Oh, one of them looks considerably older, so I always thought of her as the mother.
No.
I think Mila Parelli plays Felicie. That's her, the primary sister. And then Nana Germont plays the secondary one on the left. I think she has less lines. But Felicie is definitely the primary one. And I think also you could see she looks to be, I would guess, somewhat older actors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was thinking she was the mom. Oh, look at that face. You don't have to be Nazi to be in love with Josette Day. But it helps.
Yeah, the one on the left does look like she's the oldest sister.
Now we're starting to get into the cool part. You see here, you hear how the music is changing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first kind of cool interlude where it's starting to get a little more magical. This is one of the kind of the boring scenes, I think. This one here between these three. It'll be later on where there's another similar boring scene that will do the Dr. Pepper challenge.
You got it.
And I realize I'm a little lax. I forgot to bring in my list of ingredients, so I'll be guessing the ingredients as well.
You are lax.
Yeah, or I'll find it. Don't Google it. I'm Googling it.
So you will have your list of ingredients.
Yeah.
I always feel so bad for the father that he has to go through all of this. The only one who's really for him is Belle.
Right, that's right. Besides the brother, of course, the father. But in a sense, I mean, he kind of, puts her totally in debt by, she has to buy off the debt. He's in prison, essentially. And, and she has to fulfill that. So she kind of, he's positive towards her. Oh, and then the other thing is, later on, he kind of gets sick while she's...
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so it's kind of like he's a pro character to her, but he still screws her over big time. Okay, here's this great theme, the Philip Glass theme, and him wandering down this path. This is where the cinematography just goes through the roof. I mean, it's just so insanely beautifully done.
Yeah.
And also, being a black and white movie, you don't really appreciate just how carefully all the tones are picked. It's a fairly dark movie, but...
I think just the opposite. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not you've watched. For someone that hasn't watched black and white, it's probably, they can't appreciate it. In lots of ways, I prefer watching movies in black and white.
Me too.
Because I think it's more of a challenge to get those tones just right. To find those, to get the grays in there.
Well, also the mind fills in so much about, hair color and other things, the color of the horse. You could ask somebody later on, what was the color of the horse? And they'll have an answer in color.
That's true.
There's the first little bit of magic, just the trees part themselves, yeah. The branches part themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's really this scene here where the father first appears, and my favorite is the one where Belle first appears on the castle. That is just so... you've already seen many of the elements before, but just the pacing of it, it's almost like this painting, the way they do it.
Oh, there goes your horse.
Yeah, horse is gone. This is cool. I can hear your dialogue, so I can tell that we're very close to being in sync.
The shot now.
Now here's the start of this thing. Ooh. Now with the exception of one thing that I'll point out later, all of the effects are practical effects. They're done on the set, in camera, live. They're not done later in the studio, like this right here.
Did they have the ability to do stuff in the studio at that point?
Yes. Oh yeah, since the 20s. I mean, all of the old films, you know, The Guy in the Moon. So this is, of course, reverse motion, which makes it very odd. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you may. Go ahead. That's B. B, you want to watch this film? This is Beauty and the Beast. This is the father coming into the Beast's castle, and that's Cheryl on the phone. You want to say hello to Cheryl? No?
Hey, how you doing? Hi.
Yeah, pretty good. Cool. All those like pointy hands and the candelabras. Pretty magical, huh? Anyway, go get a chocolate bar. She's watching SpongeBob SquarePants. I know. Which is another thing we should probably do a commentary on at some point, because I think it's really brilliant. SpongeBob SquarePants. We'll save that for another day.
Yes.
Like I think seasons 2 and 3 probably are the best.
You know, I actually haven't watched it, I must admit. I've watched 1 or 2.
Okay, you're getting a deluge of SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'm trying to remember if these are real people on either side of the fireplace.
Yes.
I think they are.
Plus that hand holding the candelabra.
Yes, it's real.
Is a real person's hand. Actually, here it might be a statue, but later when you get a close-up of it. Ooh. Yeah, just a little motion.
Well, and the light, you know, the way the eyes are done.
Yeah.
So you just get that light. You can see from that first angle that there's no way he would have been able to pour that successfully.
No. His hand's coming out of a table, and he can't see. He can't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. See here, practical effect again. There's nothing under the table, you would think. So what I think is brilliant about this is that they play with the viewer's imagination. They do very simple camera tricks. This is all forward motion, but just by having 1 or 2 shots inserted that are in reverse, it just totally messes with your conception of reality. And there's quite a number of reverse shots. I'll point out all the practical effects as we hit them because they're brilliant. So far, all we've seen is a bunch of guys, you know, with spray-painted makeup like this guy, and 1 reverse shot. So we really haven't seen that much in the way of practical effects yet, but there's a number of them in the film. And there's also a couple of special effects. And special effects are those effects that would have to be done later using optical printers. And
I can think of one, actually.
Which one?
As you say that. There's one with Belle. Where she's falling through.
She's going.
When we get to it.
Yeah, she's going through the black hole in a sense, or through the looking glass, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
No, that was done practically. Actually, the special effect is when she's looking in the mirror. That's a matte. So yeah, we'll hit those. But yeah, when you look at that, we'll talk about how those were done. We're not going to stop and replay those bits, but yeah, if you watch, it's just exactly what you can do on a stage. It's just that your mind assumes that it was filmed one way when in fact it was filmed another. Like the reverse sequences, you assume they're filmed forward order when in fact the actors are actually walking backwards and pantomiming everything in reverse. Beautiful. Just beautiful composition.
I want to see this in a theater again. I want to see it on a big screen.
Yeah, I think you. The only thing is you wouldn't be watching the Philip Glass. I don't think that went into general release at all. Maybe they had like a very brief period where in New York and a couple of theaters you could watch the Philip Glass.
Yeah. I'm sure there are a couple of theaters up here that would play that version.
It's all a matter of licensing, you know. It's really easy to get projection rights to an old film. Whether or not you could get the rights specifically to the Philip Glass is another thing. Yeah.
Here's your first indicator. Know what you're dealing with.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, now you're screwed. So, because there isn't time to say this later, I was arguing that the Beast is actually a very beautiful character. And there's something really cool that, oh, what's her name? I'm blanking out on names here. Swedish actress, oh, hold on one second. Let me look this up. She was famous for saying, I want to be alone. Greta Garbo.
Oh, Garbo.
Yeah. Greta Garbo, when she saw this film, said something I think is really cool. When the Beast turns into the Prince at the very end, she said something to the effect of, "What have they done with my beautiful Beast? I miss the Beast." And that's so cool, because it's really true. He's a really noble character this way, and then he just becomes like another Avenant in a way at the end.
Yeah,
just ultra handsome.
No, I much prefer him this way.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I saw this, that I thought, you know, I would love to have a doll of him as the Beast.
Right.
That's what I would love to have.
Yeah, it's really true. You can revel in just how beautiful this Beast character is, you know. I mean, he's sensitive and gentle and noble.
Yeah,
He still has to go out and suck the blood out of deer, and you know, he's still a beast.
It's accepting who he is.
Right.
It's just like, you know, it's what we do every day. We accept people for who they are. And of course, that's the whole beauty of the thing, is that she accepts him for who he is. Did we do?
So
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We didn't do Beauty and the Beast as a marionette.
yes, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we did Beauty and the Beast. We did Beauty and the Beast first. Then we did Firebird. Then we did that Captain something. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Okay. I thought we had. But I wasn't sure.
So I guess in the original story, the way I heard it, the father becomes prisoner of the Beast, and then she goes to have him released. That's the way I remember it.
Yes.
So I think this is one of the areas where
that's how the Disney version works as well.
the what version?
I think that's how it works in the Disney version as well.
Well, I think Cocteau changed around significant plot points from the original fairy tale, and
Well, he's given, you know, he's cut out that whole piece and made it easier. So,
right.
You know, the father goes home, and he's trusting the father that the father's going to go home, and and come back.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that hair flip? I'm making it my business, and he goes with his hair. Oh my goodness!
Laughter.
So the family's just falling apart, and Avignon is just this asshole. Excuse me for saying so. During this,
that there could be a fire starting in the book?
no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about. Another practical effect: the light following that little follow spot there on the light candle. The beast will eat them all, and we will marry Princess. Oh, this is the best part. Listen to the music here. This whole sequence here. Well, the music hasn't kicked in yet. This is absolutely brilliant. Just the film, the score. This is my favorite part right here. This sequence. So she's going off in secret without the family knowing to fulfill the debt.
Look at that little piece of ironwork that's next to her head.
And this is also a theme that that little theme is Philip Glass is going to pull out quite a lot. Le Magnifique. Love how the gates open automatically for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like the little smoke from the horse's tail.
Yeah.
We just had back there. It's gone now.
So there's the same
came out the gate.
Yeah, same forest path and the same branches, so you know where you are.
And we know where we are.
This is insane. I mean, just the here. This is forward motion, slow motion. That's all it is. Slow motion.
Yeah.
Here again, just slow motion forward. But the way this whole thing is timed out. Now, when you listen to the original score, it doesn't do justice to how surreal this passage is. But the Philip Glass, you can hear he backs off and he just makes it very magical. I just love.
I have to go back and watch it with the original score. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah. Or you can ruin the mood and just flip into it temporarily.
Nah.
But trust me, when you do, it's such a letdown. I mean, the original score does what it should. It in sections like this, there's some score going on during the passages where there's dialogue. The score is running behind. Oh, this is another cool one. A little practical effect here. She's being drawn along on this little carriage. You can actually see the strings at the bottom. She's being pulled along. She's not actually walking. So it gives this very bizarre look as she's just being floating. It makes her look like she's floating down the.
Through.
Yeah, so she's just being pulled along on this little roller carriage with little fish wire on it. And there again, now she steps off of it. So it's just these little tweaks of reality that give it an insane. Of course, also the fact that all the walls are dark and you have no sense of any ceiling being present.
Mm-hmm.
Just gives it this very surreal quality.
It was so sick.
Yeah, just very simple, practical things. done, you know, on the day of, on the set.
I wanted this room. I so wanted this room.
With the ivy and all the stuff growing on the inside.
All the greenery.
Yeah.
I thought it was like sleeping in a garden.
It's funny. I mean, again, I saw this when I was a bit older, so I loved it, but I didn't make just like a huge connection to it. I just thought it was an insanely great movie. Ah, special effect.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
Yeah. But again, all of these things are just these.
Right.
No,
it
it doesn't.
Like an animal moving off
Yeah.
from under the sheets. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit much.
And I just.
The thing that's interesting is it was like dawn when she left, or was it dusk when she left? Did she leave at dusk?
It was.
She must have.
You also can't overinterpret.
She left at dawn and then suddenly got to his place and it was always dark.
I think it's like afternoon, but oh no, it looks almost like she's leaving in the morning early on. That's the way I interpret it. She leaves early in the morning. But honestly, you can't. Yeah, but you can't interpret it that way because he's going to make it deliberately darker and more mysterious in places. It's not going to have any correspondence to it being morning or afternoon or noon or evening or whatever. He's going to make it dark when it makes more sense to have it be dark.
Well, I always interpreted it that the beast's place is always dark.
Always kind of dark, yeah. Or very shadowy.
Where he is, wherever he is, it's dark.
Right.
And that's just how his life is.
Right. Everything's under kind of a magic spell. And reality doesn't fully apply, yeah. Now, I did comment earlier on Josette Day's breasts, and I hate to bring them up again, but they are magnificent, and we're going to see how magnificent they are in a second. Oddly enough, when he walks through this same room, it's almost, I think it's because it's more brightly lit than normal. It just seems less magical somehow, you know? It's just like, oh, this is my living room, you know. No big deal.
For him, it's not magic. His life isn't magical. His life is depressing.
Yeah, to him, yeah.
But for anyone else, it's magical.
Right. Yeah, he has to deal with it every day.
Yeah, and he's trapped there. You can't escape it.
Oh, here they come. Here they come.
About it for him.
Here they come. Oh, nice. Sorry, I just get a little carried away, yeah. Very beautiful woman. Oh, speaking of very beautiful women, Jean Marais. Now, the whole backstory behind Jean Marais that I promised you was that Jean Marais and Jean Cocteau were gay lovers. And the persecution that the persecution that Jean Cocteau went under the Nazi and Vichy regimes was not for being a filmmaker. He was persecuted for being a homosexual, which I think is really cool. So he had to do a lot of things to kind of get out from under that. And I think that's where potentially he got this label as being pro-Vichy, was because he was being persecuted so much. So I think it's really cool that he came out. Again, it's the whole concept of conformity. You know, there is almost like there's a message here about sensitivity, you know? And with that backstory in place, it just makes it that much cooler that there's this whole gay, anti-gay, homophobia kind of thing behind this as well. He also cast Marais in a couple of other films while they were going out, while they were lovers.
I had no idea.
Yep. Lay some bombshells on you there. I mean, the historical context is really significant in this film. What's really ironic is one of my other favorite films is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Charles Laughton version, which came out in 1939. And the only reason it was really overlooked was because 1939 was also The Wizard of Oz, and I believe.
So it was totally blown away.
Yeah, it was also. Wasn't it also the year that? The old Civil War. Charlotte, I just don't give a damn.
That's a little pinky there. Asking her if he can watch her dine.
Well, he hardly ever entertains.
Okay, that translation was not good. I revolt.
Oh, you know the French? You're listening to the French?
I'm listening to the glass, but I've got the subtitles.
Right.
I revolt you, as opposed to I repulse you.
Well, the other thing that could be happening, I think that you're seeing the English subtitles to the original score. It's possible that Philip Glass might have transposed a few syllables to make it more sense musically, you know. Oh, Gone with the Wind. That was the other film, I believe, came out in 1939. So what's really cool about The Hunchback of Notre Dame was that it was filmed at the outset of the war, the outbreak of the war on Britain in 1939. So folks like Charles Laughton were totally invested in that. And again, it's another statement against conformity. The Hunchback of Notre Dame was released in 1939, and it was released at the outbreak of the Second World War. So English actors like Charles Laughton were really heartbroken that their country was going into war at that point. The U.S. wasn't involved, but was very definitely pro-Britain. But the whole message of...
You keep going in and out now.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, you're going in and out.
That's weird. Trying to turn the volume up a little bit.
It could be the speakerphone.
Yeah. Can you hear me now all right?
Yeah.
What I was saying about The Hunchback of Notre Dame was that it was filmed, or it was released in 1939 at the outset of the Second World War.
At the outbreak of the war.
Right. And you had a number of English actors in it. Charles Laughton, I forget the guy who plays the evil priest. But they were all like totally, freaking out because their country was going to war. And what's really strange is, I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, but there's almost like an anti-Nazi sentiment there, in that it's anti-fascist, it's anti-conformist. It's not really directly against the Nazis, but it's there. That the films of that era, immediately before the war, immediately after the war, are so invested with this whole mentality of the war. It's like the films of the 50s that were so, again, they were anything out of the ordinary, anybody thinking incorrectly, was identified as somehow evil, or it was just the opposite, where they were, you had folks making brilliant statements against McCarthyism.
Well, and frankly, people have always looked to artists to make those statements in their art.
Yeah, and it's subtle because, again, this is just a story about Beauty and the Beast. There's nothing going on. But when you look at it, there's very many.
Look for it.
What I think is brilliant about this film is there's so many layers and subtexts, and there's so many ways of viewing the film. You can view it just as a fairy tale. You can view it as a cinematic or technical masterpiece. But then below it, there's a political statement. Below that, there's a pro-gay thing going on. I mean, there's all these different things going on. I never fully understood
that
this.
statue right there looks like it could be African American.
Yep. Now, I never fully understood the smoke here. He's smoking because why? I think it's right after he's made a kill.
I don't know. Because he's out of control?
I think it's right after he's made a kill or something like that. His first smokes. Or I'm not sure.
Warmth of the flesh of the animal on him.
Yeah, I don't quite get this part here. But I hate to be one of those guys holding up those candelabras and having to be really, really still. Cheryl, did you hear me just then? Cheryl, you might want to turn down the sound just a little bit.
You want me to turn it down a little bit?
Just a tiny bit, yeah. I just realized that's probably what's Now that there. That actually looked more... I'd have to rewind it. That actually looked like it was actually done at the time. It wasn't done as a matte. Because you can see that when she goes dark, they're just turning the lights off, and you can still see a bit of her. And I'd have to look at it again, but that actually looked like it was done in camera, not like the first shot with the mirror. Oh, this is great. Nice. There's another one a little bit later on. I think when she takes off a necklace that he's given her, one of the family members takes it off, and it just turns into like mush. Yeah.
Yeah, it just falls apart.
That's another place where they just did a practical effect where they simply had the actual. We'll talk about it when it actually hits, but they did something very sneaky to make that happen. All live, not done. No, there's very few special effects in this movie. Everyone thinks of it as being an effects-oriented movie, but what's great is these are all stage effects. These are all practical effects, for the most part, except for the mirror and I think there's one other thing. So this is now, I guess, building on the relationship between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
The good part of the relationship.
Yeah.
Where she starts to sort of fall in love with him.
And he's given her a lovely dress.
Mm-hmm. And she's not the kind of girl who has to show it off. She's kind of learning to be content living there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now she's wearing the pearls. Yeah, she's wearing the pearls he gave her.
She's going into a forbidden place.
So wasn't it the point earlier on was she didn't want to take the pearls from him, and now she's proudly wearing them. There's very little wasted effort in this film, or wasted props, you know?
Yeah. And now you watch films now, and it's just like, come on, get on with it. You know, there's so much in there that is so totally unnecessary, and so much repeating. It's like you're getting banged over the head with a message. And you watch older films, and you just don't have that.
But
It's pretty clean. Mostly they're pretty clean.
But what I think also is it builds suspense, because you know she's longing for her family. She's conflicted. This is so great.
Yeah. You're recording me.
Well, also what I think is, this is pure fairy tale. I mean, you have all these bizarre creatures and wonderful architecture.
Yeah.
And the fog, and
I'm sorry, go ahead.
there's the fog and the architecture, the incredible costumes.
Yeah.
These costumes are also, in a sense, over the top, but they're not over the top in the same, you know. I mean, these are classy. These are
They're
beautiful.
over the top, but we're not seeing them on characters we detest.
Right. They're not vain characters. They're just incredibly opulent fairy tale characters.
Mm-hmm. I love the ears.
Yeah. What do you do all day? Beastly things.
Mm.
I love the fact that he can't totally concentrate on her because he smells the deer. He's like, he's a beast. Yeah, he wants to totally chase after it and slaughter it. This is so brilliant. This is so beautiful. I mean, there are those two famous scenes with the magical candelabras and so on, but the magic of this film is through the whole film.
It really is.
Who walks around like that?
And the movie, I mean, the whole movie that he did earlier in the hallway outside of the door.
Next time I go on a date, I'm going to insist that my date and I walk around like that with our hands held high. You know, just like walk into the restaurant. Yes, we'd like 2, please, non-smoking, and then we'll just glide over to the table. Spend the whole night like that.
And the table was served our dinner.
Yeah. Oh, here, would you like some water? There's a grace to this whole.
Oh, you just think from her hand. She knows. She knows. Such a pivotal point.
Yep. Okay, just to compare this, are you ready to do an audio flip into French 1? You want to try it?
My glasses on here.
I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready.
All right, French 1. So now you're listening to the original audio. Real dialogue.
That's the.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
High and is high and he's a tenor, I believe.
Right.
And it takes away from the gravelly and the deepness of his voice, which I really like.
I'm switching back to the Philip Glass. Well, see, when you have the dialogue sung to you, it's around this point in the movie where I start to fade a little bit. But on the other hand, the music is so cool. And it adds so much, and it's so much better recorded, 1990s style technology as opposed to 1946 audio recording. I could watch it either way, but I honestly think the Philip Glass component just projects it off into the, lyrical and mysterious direction so much more than the original dialogue and music. This is now almost like a musical practical effect, because he's taking one of his themes and slowing it down and turning it into more of a romantic theme than a mysterious theme.
Yeah. And one assumes that theme will return.
Yeah.
He's letting her go.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where he gives her the, I'm not sure of exactly when this is, but he gives her that thing that lets her transport wherever she wants.
Yeah.
Whenever she wants.
Well, that's the thing. He's allowing her to go back home to see her father.
Right. Because he was an idiot.
Because he has compassion for her.
Okay, the one thing I will say about the Disney Beauty and the Beast is Patrick Warburton voiced the Avenant character. And Patrick Warburton, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he is so great as just this self-indulgent, big, dorky guy. I loved him on News Radio, the old ensemble comedy piece. He was so great as the evil kind of corporate guy.
It's a character that he's just wonderful at.
Yeah. Every time I've ever seen Patrick Warburton, I just thought it's so brilliant, whatever he's doing. Even just doing the voice of a character in a Disney movie, He just adds so much to it.
Yeah. Yeah, he has that character down. He really does.
So there he is. He's at his beastly, smoky desk. What are you doing at my door?
What's he doing? Oh, there we go.
I was just smoking. So we're kind of approaching the third act. All of this I think of as kind of like the second act, when she's in his castle and their relationship is brewing, and then you start to introduce the family again and the resolution, and that to me is like the third act. You know what I think also really lends itself to the operatic style is it's so dramatic. I mean, your gaze is killing me, close the door. It's not like, oh, how are you? Do you want eggs this morning? It's not like, okay, this is the boring scene. You might have to get some Dr. Pepper pretty soon. But here, this is kind of like, to me, the beginning of the third act.
Yes. I wondered when we were going to get to this. I forgot.
Yeah, I remember I said the first... Actually, I guess it's a little later. Those three have a longer extended scene. That's the scene that always puts me to sleep. I just don't really care about what they're talking about, what they're doing. I just want to drink Dr. Pepper and try and figure out what's in it.
They don't care. They just throw the stuff on the floor.
Huh?
No, they just tossed all this stuff up on the floor that was on top of that.
Right.
Unpredictable.
So the father's sick. Father's confused. Father's missing Belle.
And yes, they're confiscating all of his belongings. And where are those daughters?
Right. Right. They're not there for their father. Right. They're off socializing somewhere. Oh, maybe they're repossessing all his belongings because he couldn't follow through in his business things. So now the family is suffering because all of his belongings are being repossessed.
Well, except his sisters, whose things are guaranteed.
Right.
Everyone is suffering but them at the moment.
No, she's suffering. She misses her father. She doesn't know that he's sick.
I said everyone is suffering but
Oh, everybody. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant these two.
No. No. If she weren't suffering, he wouldn't allow her to go back.
So my proposal to you is that we should do this once every couple of weeks. Not with this film again and again and again, but with different films.
Yeah. Okay, it's going to be hard over the next... I'll look at my schedule. It's going to be difficult because I have going into rehearsal Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah, for Comedy of Errors.
Nice. What part?
Amelia. Is the mother of the long-lost twins, and she becomes an abbot. So you don't see her till the fifth act, but she's very important in the fifth act.
Cool.
And then I go back into the superheroines. So somewhere in there we should be able to.
I'm not sure what the superheroines are.
Superheroine monologues?
No.
Can you see the picture of me as Storm on my page?
There are a bunch of pictures, stage performances. I love the one where you're an older woman. They make you look really old, like a grandmother.
Oh yeah, that was Home.
Home?
Home. That's true. It's very emotional. That was a very emotional process. One of those things that changes here. I'll send you the link to, actually, if you're online now, just go to superheroinemonologues.com.
Oh, really? Yeah, let me do that. Heroine with an E. Monologues. Is monologues Monologues? Let me try Googling it.
There's night in his world, but morning in hers.
Catwoman, Batgirl, Wonder Woman. I don't think this is your main page, but maybe somebody commenting. Oh my goodness. There you are. Oh, you're the Storm character. See, I thought you had done that just for a Halloween thing. I didn't realize that was a character.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Superwoman, Batgirl, Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Storm. What's her name? Dr. something from the X-Men?
Yeah, Dark Phoenix.
And then what's the girl in the yellow dress with the...
Lois Lane.
Oh, Lois Lane. That's amazing. That's so insane. So there, I'm looking at the Superheroine Monologues teaser. Should I play it?
Sure.
Changing the face of Boston theater. Speed. Meow. Spandex. Wow. So what do you guys do live?
It's a set of monologues.
This.
With all of those characters. And
So each of the characters.
This is the one I'm thinking of. But that was done properly. Huh.
April 10th to 26th at the Boston Playwrights Theater. Huh.
And now we're doing it again in September.
And now it's being like done again and revived. Is it scripted or ad libbed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's scripted.
Wow. That's so cool. God, I'd love to see that.
That's a fun show, it really is. And I'm interested to see what my rewrites are going to be for the time. But
maybe there'll be this.
It really is fun. It starts off with Wonder Woman leaving Paradise Island. So it starts with her journey.
Wow, that's really cool. I haven't done much with theater at all since college, and I was actually kind of thinking of getting back into it a little bit because there's not much theater out here, like hardcore theater. And I was thinking of doing some kind of like absurdist things just on the street. And the one like organized thing that I want to do is I watched this movie, Shadow of the Vampire with John Malkovich, and the vampire is played by, why am I blanking out on names? Willem Dafoe plays the vampire. Just insane performance. And I was actually watching it thinking, wow, this whole thing would make a really brilliant stage performance in which, because it's a bunch of old filmmakers, what you can do is you can disguise a modern day camcorder as an old, you put it inside an old wind up film camera, and you basically have a lot of video where the actual old cameras are actual video cameras, and you then project on the screen what they're seeing. So you actually have like a live silent movie being produced while you're seeing the stage version. It's hard to explain, but there's like when you watch the movie, a big part of it is the silent movie part. So you make that part of the stage performance. And then there's this one very critical scene where the vampire is lying in bed, and you don't see him in the mirror. And I totally figured out, oh, well, that's the way you always make somebody disappear. You have a room off to the side, lit exactly the same, with a hole in the middle, making it look like a mirror, but it's not really a mirror. It's just a whole nother room. So I figured that part of it out. So I have this idea. I want to do it, but, of course, no budget, no following, It's just an idea.
We'll find a way to do it.
Might take a year or two, but yeah. Ooh.
Sisters are suffering because they don't have a servant.
Yeah, they're having to do the work themselves.
Yes. Oh, poor things.
Well, I never. The rags. I like the rags they're dressed in.
That the guys are dressed in?
Yeah. Oh, and there's Belle come back to visit. Oh, did we miss the transition where she went from? Oh, that'd be a shame if we missed it. Where she went from one place to the other.
That's what I was saying. That looked like was one of the transitions we were talking about.
Yeah, and the way they did it was...
It looks practical, but it looks like they did it in reverse.
The way they did it was she's lying... It looks like she's next to a wall. Oh, there. She's holding on to this hair, right? She drops it. It falls really close to the camera beneath the frame. Meanwhile, a stagehand is sitting above her and drops the necklace through the frame onto the spot which is centered in the frame. So all they had to do is rehearse it so that the actress is dropping it close enough to the camera that it falls out of the frame. Meanwhile, what the stagehand does, the guy on the ladder or the guy sitting above does, is he just drops it onto a spot in the frame. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you don't see them actually. You don't see her actually give it to her.
Right.
It's a separate shot.
Right. And then the transition where she's going through the wall, it's actually not a wall, it's a floor. They make the floor up to look like a wall. She's lying over a trap door. And they simply open the trap door, she falls through it. The thing is filmed in reverse.
In reverse.
Right. So it looks like she's pushing through the wall. But if you look very early on, you can see the corners of the trap door kind of closing behind her.
Yeah. I remember seeing this a few years ago and laughing out loud at that.
Yeah, it's one of the clumsier things, but what I think is great is that they didn't opt for, oh yeah, let's use a special effect there where, we make the wall somehow, actually, a way you could do it practically is you could have a half-silvered mirror, and you have a picture of a solid wall and another picture of a wall that's missing, and when she walks through it, it makes her look like she's walking through the wall, whereas she's just walking through an open space.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He would never eat me. Love that line. And they're so jealous of her that she's in servitude to this beast, but she's rich. Or she has everything she wants for clothes and pearls and what have you. Oh, this is the scene. This is the Dr. Pepper scene. We don't have to guess the ingredients, but what I found in challenging other people to come up with ingredients is it's very hard to name more than about 5 of the flavors.
All right, let me get my Dr. Pepper. Should I stop it? Should I pause it?
No, keep it going.
Huh?
Keep it going.
Okay. Yes, the plot to keep Belle home. I do love the fact that they have that actor playing both parts. Playing all 3 parts, rather.
Yeah. Well, what's great is there's a difference between Avenant and the Prince. Avenant is almost a step up from the Prince in a really weird way. I mean, he's a real person. He's a 3-dimensional character. He's totally pig-headed and he's totally into his own motives. But on the other hand, what Greta Garbo said about the Prince is so true. He's just so, oh, I'm the Prince, I'm wonderful. It's just, he's so flat,
Yeah.
compared to the Beast. And of course, you only see him for 5 minutes on the screen. Okay, so you got your Dr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mine's unfortunately warmed up, so it's
He's often been quite unfair. They're so evil.
Yeah.
Just so evil. It has been a very long time since I've had a Dr. Pepper.
I actually have been really getting into Dr. Pepper.
Stole the key.
Yep.
Thinking it will do. Because I'm good. Little do they know.
Now that's the key to what?
It's the key to the beast.
Oh, the Beast Slayer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to say, fairy tales show the absolute worst, show the extremes of people.
Right.
Show the absolute worst and the absolute best. And I haven't read like the original Grimm's, which I hear are quite grim.
Yep.
But they're so extreme.
I'll bet you can, speaking of online, I bet you can find those things on Gutenberg. If you go to www.gutenberg.org, there's a lot of free text there.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you the Brother Grimm stories are part of that. I'm just looking that up. Yeah, you look under Wilhelm Grimm or Jacob Grimm, and you'll see Grimm's fairy tales in English. And just looking. Oh. Not quite there. Yeah, fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm. Goldenberg, Hans and Luck. There's at least 20 or maybe 30. Ashputel is Cinderella.
Who originally wrote this?
Good question. Let me see if we have Beauty and the Beast. No, I don't know. See if I can answer that real quick. Beauty and the Beast is a traditional fairy tale, type 425C, Enchanted Husband, in the Anne Thompson classification. Apparently somebody has classified all of the fairy tales. The first published version of the fairy tale was a rendition by Madame Gabrielle Suzanne Barbeau de Villeneuve, published in La Jeune Américaine, and I can't speak French, in about 1740. So basically, it was probably an oral... Yeah, it looks like it's mostly... Well, from around Europe, at least. It was probably a... 18th century. Well, it was written down in the 18th century. It may have been floating around for 100 years before that.
Look at Cinderella.
Cinderella?
I'm curious to know how close they are in origin.
Cinderella, French Cendrillon, is a well-known classic folktale embodying a myth element, blah, 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 blah. As far as origins go, oh, that goes way back. The Cinderella theme may well have originated in classical antiquity. The Greek historian Strabo recorded in the 1st century BC the tale of the Greco-Egyptian girl Rhopodis, which is considered the oldest known version of the story.
Huh.
So actually...
So Cinderella came before.
Yeah, but Cinderella could have inspired the Beauty and the Beast story, because it's definitely a lot of similarity.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was wondering, which came first, because there are so many similarities between the two.
Right. But definitely the Brother Grimm version of Cinderella might be much closer. The Ashpatel version, I haven't read it, but as I understand it, I mean, the kind of the version of Cinderella that we know today is largely based on the Brothers Grimm version.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the time, I'd read it. It's right here. It starts out, "The wife of a rich man fell sick, and when she felt her end drew nigh, she called her only daughter to a bedside and said, 'Always be a good girl, and I will look down from heaven and watch over you.'" And it's not a very long story, actually. It's, the whole story is maybe like 5 pages long. Yeah, it's The Prince and the Shoe. Yeah, it's the Cinderella story, but it's very short. It's like 3 or 4 or 5 pages.
The horse is back.
I'll send you the link to this Brothers Grimm thing that I'm looking at.
Cool. So you foolish, foolish people. Don't you understand these gifts are not for you?
So I got so distracted by thinking about Cinderella and the Brothers Grimm, I haven't been watching the movie. I've been kind of listening to it. So right, they're mounting their assault. They're getting ready to storm the castle.
They're trying to keep the magnifique.
I need to take the headphones off or turn them down so I can hear you a little better. I love they get the arrows. Arrows. So you remember that arrow that came through the window by accident when they're practicing their archery. And so they're going after the beast with arrows. And guess what they get felled by? An arrow. Not just an arrow. I actually read somewhere about the significance of the character that delivers the arrow. It's not the beast. Somewhere or another I read this. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Check the mirror. Let's see your future. Let's see someone's future.
Oh, they don't realize they don't realize that the mirror is magical.
No.
Now she doesn't have the magic glove, the glove that lets her transport, right?
I don't know that they took the glove. They took the key.
Yeah. And the other question is, why is she all dolled up in beast couture now, where she was a second ago kind of dressed as the as the servant girl.
Well, they all changed.
They all
All of
changed?
them changed, yes.
Oh.
And I think she was going to go back.
Now you see
Either
here,
she was going to go back, or she just needed to feel closer to the beast.
right. Special effect there, a little matte. And that's definitely done as a matte and not as something done on the stage. How insane would it be to act this part here where you're just like pantomiming towards the mirror, and in the mirror you're seeing the camera.
Yeah.
And you're just like making love to the mirror there. Oh, the glove. Cool. So she has a way of getting back.
Wait, where's the glove?
She's about to put it on.
How?
She's about to put it on. She's smoking. Are we out of sync again?
I think again.
Weird the way that happened.
Now on mine she's putting it on.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm about 10 seconds ahead of you, so I need to...
And there's the smoke. How
Yep.
does that happen?
So she basically transported to the beast's lair and back.
And now she's back and she's looking for the key.
Yep, she's looking for the key. She's got the mirror, the glove, and she's missing the key. Oh. I can't tell you what just happened. Not for 10 seconds.
I need a key. I don't... Take the mirror. Oh!
The mirror breaks. But now she's back in the beast's abode, courtesy of the glove. She doesn't have the key. So that's how Ludovic and Avignon get in.
Get in. And get into the forbidden place. The library.
No, not quite. The golden key unlocks Diana's pavilion, which is the source of the beast's true
I
riches.
think of it as the library now because of the Disney version.
Right.
But yes, it is Diana's pavilion.
Which is where he has all of his riches. So they have the key now. Right, they have the key to his untold wealth. Oh, I love the fact that the Snwan's attack him. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little ahead of you. She runs across the beast.
She's running over to him now.
Yeah, the beast is off by the pond there, and guess what the Swan does?
Yeah, he does.
It goes after and starts nipping at him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. Okay, I have to count to 10 before I can tell you what I'm seeing now.
I'm the monster, my beast. No, it can't be too big.
Oh, I should just pause this for a moment. Let me know when you see Ludovic and Avignon.
I'm there now. And I see, are we there? We're there. First we have to kill the beast.
Okay, let me know when it cuts to the two of them at the door.
Now.
Do you have the key?
That's what yeah.
Okay, great. We're in sync again. Oh, great. I just had to pause it for a bit. Stop. This key may trigger some evil trap. Oh, and you hear the music again? Now it's back to the magical music that you heard when the father is in that by the fireplace for the first time. It's that music with the bell and the da-da-da-da. It's just reprising the magical theme.
I'm not scared, I'm thinking.
Yeah. So actually they could have used that key to get in. It wasn't necessarily a trap.
it's an interesting device, even needing a key.
Yeah.
Given that that up until now, no one has needed a key to unlock anything. Everything's just been magically
Well, to get
open.
to the place outside, you can just go through the forest. But yeah, to get to his... I mean, they're going after his riches.
Yes.
So they pried out of her the secret of what the key was all about. So Diana is the statue. Diana. Oh, I should look up Diana. Diana is a Greek goddess.
Yeah, isn't she this gorgeous Greek goddess that everyone...
Not just gorgeous Greek goddess. The choice of Diana mythology. She is the goddess of the hunt, being associated with wild animals and woodland, and also the moon. Also of an emblem of chastity. So in a strange sense, they're invading his space. And she, being the guardian of chastity, does away with them.
I love this.
This right here, also the sound of the breaking glass, that's the one thing, that's the one sound effect that they add in the Philip Glass score. Out of the whole thing. It's so surreal because the whole movie you don't hear anything, objects, doors being opened and closed, things like that. You don't hear any of that. It makes it very surreal. And then you just hear that one glass breaking sound effect. And there's Diana.
There's the arrow.
There's the arrow that does him in.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the just the suspense of this whole sequence here. Special effect. That was the other one I was talking about. That's the other special effect. Besides the mirror. The only other one. Boom. He falls. Now that's just reverse motion there. The prince.
Yes.
Oh god, this is so gay. I could be saved only by a loving look. And perhaps...
It's not the loving look that saved him.
No, it's just her whole countenance towards him.
Right.
That she would treat him with dignity.
Had to be killed in order for the transfer to actually happen. Otherwise, the beast simply would have died there.
I think more significantly, if you trust the magic in this, it's her trust in him that makes that happen. I mean, the Avignon character just fulfilled he fulfilled his ultimate destiny because he was greedy, and now he's either dead or he's a beast for life. He's now taken the place of the beast.
Yes.
I love how she just keeps saying yes here. This is great.
Strange little girl. Oh, please. She's not a little girl.
So she kind of had a secret crush on Avignon just for his looks. Now here's the great jump. This I love. It's coming up. It's coming up in a second. It's in my kingdom. So I guess he's still a prince and has a real kingdom. He was just kind of banished from it for a time.
He was under a spell.
Alright.
Because of his parents.
Here comes the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. I enjoy being afraid. That's great.
I think by now it would have turned light there. Because in the beast's place it's dark.
Mm.
Not in the prince's place. The prince's life isn't dark anymore.
Yeah, again, I think you can't be too logical about these things.
He even says it. He even says that her place, earlier on, he says that in his place,
Look at this. That's so great. And just the reverse motion.
That in her life it's light, and in his life it's dark. It's always dark.
This is all reverse motion here. And I'm thinking they did that on a trampoline, or else they just... And here they're just laying down.
Yeah.
That's another matte. A very badly done 1946 matte. Her dress kind of doesn't look real.
Yeah. But that's part of the beauty of it. Is seeing those effects.
Yeah.
They did those effects.
Oh, I mean... They did an amazing job. The one thing, like you pointed out, the trap door effect is a little weak. So that's a restored print of the original. And then what I'm interested in are these credits here where they talk about the Philip Glass score coming right after it. Just let it run. Original music by Philip Glass. I'm not sure if they come out with a year until the very end. But what I think also is brilliant about the Philip Glass, I mean, in addition to the whole composition of the thing, is just the fact that they synchronize so well the voices with, it works with the music, and yet it's in sync with the original actors. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, that's got to take a lot of work.
Yeah. A lot of takes.
Just to compose it that way.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many times they went through the film to do that.
Yeah. Well, I imagine they put down the music, and then they had the opera singers essentially do automated dialogue replacement where they're just doing little snippets at a time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, 1994. Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
But still, you've got to go through that translation. And I imagine retranslating places so it works.
Right. Well, there you have it. And that was pretty cool. I must say, I can never tire of watching that movie. I always spot something new.
You don't have the Lon Chaney Phantom, correct?
No, but I could rent it.
Yeah. That's what we should look at together.
Okay. Yeah, I'll rent that one for when we next do this. And I mean, we don't have to do it on a regular basis. I was thinking that would be a lot of fun, but yeah, if your schedule doesn't allow that, whatever.
I'll look at my rehearsal schedule, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, weekends or weeknights work really good for me, and I'll be able to do it from home once I get that little gizmo where I can record the phone conversation.
So what's the rest of your day going to be?
I have to finish running backups here at work. I actually thought I was going to be able to do that while we were talking, but I didn't get anything done.
Oh no.
No, I just got into what we were talking about and doing all the web searches and things while we were running it. So I got to do that, and then I got to go downtown and level and maintain a couple of pool tables.
Okay.
You
don't have an automatic backup for that?
No, we have one piece of equipment that backs itself up, but no, all the server and workstation backups we're doing manually right now. Yeah, once a week. Yeah, it does suck, but we'll get there. It's because every backup solution we've found like major holes in it, so we want to do it right. But in the meantime, we're doing it by hand, so. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. This was good. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And next time we'll, I don't know, we'll have to figure out why we got out of sync. Maybe next time we won't.
I think it may have something to do with the fact that I was watching it on the computer and you're watching it on a real DVD player, and they may run at different rates. Yeah. I don't know why that would be, but yeah, mine was definitely running faster.
Yeah. Cool. All right, then. Well, enjoy. I just lost you. It's weird how you keep going in and out.
It's the speakerphone thing.
It's the speakerphone.
Yeah, if I pick up now, yeah, this is regular phone, and I'm gonna stop the